again. We are going to continue working on our Goomba, and today we're going to work on rounding out all the shapes that we made in our last video. So I'm going to get started. So here's where we left off last time. I've got a blocked out version of my Goomba that now matches this guy. And what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to start to work on this. So I want to start working on rounding out my Goomba and making him look a little bit closer to this cartoon version. And this takes some practice. So be gentle with yourself as you start to learn this next tool. So I'm going to click on one shape. I'm going to start with my head. I'm actually going to pull it off so that I'm not distracted by any of the other shapes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my node editing, and then I'm going to click and drag. And you'll notice all these little nodes have popped up. So if I click and drag over all of them, and I'm making sure every single one is inside this box, and then I let go, they turn blue. If I missed any of them, I can hold Shift and I can click on them to make sure that they're added in. So I'll show you what that looks like. Just like that. And then I'm gonna round them out. And I'm gonna use this up here that says Make Nodes Symmetric. And if I click it, it rounds out. You'll notice right away it's not perfect. There's some wonkiness to it, and this is where I start to edit them. So back in my node editor, if I click on the node, now I've got these little handlebars, and if I pull them around, they make it so that I can adjust the line that's happening here. So I'm gonna pull some things around and start to round shapes out. And there I've got a Goomba head shape that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to drag that back and put it back on his head. Now that I've got a bit of practice with my editing tool, I don't want to move any of my other shapes. I'm going to leave them where they are. And I'm going to start to round out my eyeball. This is a lot easier because if I click on the eye and then my node editing tool, I can click and drag, round it out, and it already looks good. I'm going to leave it just like that. Because these are identical shapes, when I round them out, they're going to round out the exact same, which is awesome and much, much easier for me. I'm going to keep rounding out the inner shapes of the eye now. And remember, you can scroll in by holding Control and scroll to zoom. So there's his eyes all curved out. And now I'm going to show that I can actually curve individual points rather than the entire shape, because sometimes if I were to take my eyebrow and curve the entire thing, it would get a little wonky, and I still want a nice point to the end of my eyebrow because he's got his eyebrows on fleek. So I'm going to make sure that I'm just curving out one spot. So if I click on it and press curve, I can control how and which ones actually start to add to that curve shape. And I can keep some of them pointed and nice and sharp. Other things that I can curve just individually, I'm going to go to the tooth, get my node editor, click that top node, and curve it. And this time, my tooth has kind of got a bit of a, it's rounded, but it's got a bit of a point to it, so I can grab my handlebar and actually just pull it closer to the node. And that'll make it pointier and a little bit more tooth-like, and you can adjust how pointy you'd like it. And I'll do that for both teeth. So there I've gone in and I've curved all the different pieces. Follow along if you're confused about how each of them should curve. I was really just selecting individual points that needed to be rounded and leaving the points that I didn't necessarily need. All right, that's our Goomba how to draw again for today. Next time we're going to show you how to color, so stick with us. See ya!